As a cocaine addict, one of the biggest things that I struggled with is hypersexuality and prostitutes or anyone that would have sex with me essentially when it came to cocaine. And why this actually happens is because such a flood of dopamine happens that it becomes a sensory overload and it becomes very euphoric. It's no longer this big mood energy high, it's a euphoric high almost. And then if you mix this with alcohol, which in most cases when somebody is doing cocaine, they're gonna drink, it's gonna create cocaine now in their system. It has a half-life of about 4 times what normal cocaine is. So this is going to last instead of the 15 minutes for an hour, if not more. And it is very euphoric too. It puts a lot of stress on your heart. It's extremely dangerous actually. It leads to a lot of ODs. But on the flip side of it, it can put somebody in the mood to want to have sex a lot. And again, I share for educational purposes only, and I share through a lot of lived experiences as a recovering addict. And hopefully this will help it make sense for some people out there, especially maybe why your partner was having sex with everybody but you as an addict in a sense, or why they were doing some of the things that they did as an addict. And if you're new to the channel, hit the like and follow button, comment down below. When it came to cocaine, I would schedule out benders in a sense. And these benders were I'm giving myself to my drug bender. That's how I would escape. I was a victim as an addict. Cocaine was like a tool for me for antidepressant. Like when life was getting bad, I felt I'm gonna go on one of these because I deserved it. And I'm going to find somebody to either have sex with the whole time, or I'm gonna find a prostitute because I could usually find prostitutes off of like Craigslist or Backpages or escorts who were down to use coke with me. I'd build a relationship sometimes with these people, like a friendship. I'd hit them up and be like, hey, let's just do a ball, get a bottle and go at it. And they would be down. And it was like feeding into my addiction. And it was trying to almost cover over the emptiness that would happen. When I would do cocaine and I was drinking and I was by myself, I think any addict out there, and if you've never understood this part, this is the true insanity of addiction. You're using and you feel good, you feel just amped up, but there's like this hollowness that starts to take place in this hole. So if you can fill this with more, it almost kind of makes it go away a little bit and makes you forget about it while it's still there. And sex is a great way to do it. A lot of people will go to either gambling or to sex is what I found, because this does create more dopamine. It's like a different high, and we're chasing chaos. The worst thing about cocaine addiction and any addiction out there, any addict will tell you, you get to a point where the substances no longer almost get you high. When you're doing the substances, it's like a depression hits, even with cocaine, because there's nothing left after this. So then if there's sex still after this, it's like chasing this chaos. And it's very euphoric. It's very dangerous because, like in my cases, I would be taking Viagra with it. I would take 200 milligrams of Viagra, which put a ton of stress on my heart. And I would be having unprotected sex with these women. I'm not fixed or anything, going off the assumption that they're all on birth control. And we would just do cocaine, we would have sex, and we would chase this chaos. We would talk a little bit. And I felt safe. I would never do this with my partner because it's not safe. I know how bad this is. I know how dangerous this is. Like, I don't want my partner to per se do this. I'm going to do this by myself. And so I am chasing like this chaos by myself, but I'm not alone all of a sudden. I have somebody who's kind of cool. They can't hurt me. I mean, I'm essentially paying them to be there, or they're there because they want to do drugs with me. So I can be myself. I am able to do more drugs. And it was just this vicious cycle. It became very euphoric where almost every time that I did cocaine, I needed to have sex. And I mean, I would escape away with this. Get a hotel room. It would turn into a production. I would have rope and toys and we would video record this stuff because I would get so high that I would be trying to tell myself, was this real and did this really even happen afterwards or the next day? Because I would lie to my ex-wife and tell her I was going to work. I wouldn't go to work. I would go to a Motel 6 or I'd go to another hotel. I would have my location services and everything turned off. I'd check in and I would usually get there about 11. So I would start drinking. Whoever I was going to meet up with would usually get there around 12. I've already ate a little bit and now I'm not going to eat. We're having sex. We're doing drugs the entire rest of the time. I'm ignoring all my phone calls. My phone is on silent and do not disturb, so I can just pretend like my phone died. I can come up with all these lies, and I wanted to lie because life had to be chaotic. life couldn't be simple. And that's the worst part about an addict, is we don't have a simple life. We have a chaotic life. We thrive on chaos. We need chaos. It's like enabling for us. And it's a really sad part about addiction, but it's a lot of truth to it of we're constantly chasing this. And if everything went perfect, it almost wasn't as good of a high. Like there had to be something bad in a sense that happened. My wife had to be blowing up my phone. She had to be angry when I got home. I would have to like come home and like be missing my underwear or something and try and hide and lie and manipulate because it was just all this chaos that just enwrapped my head. And it's all my brain eventually knew was it was like a massive disassociation, obsession with this of what I identified as. And I thought it was the greatest thing ever. As I'm hurting everyone around me, doing all this damage to myself, money, hurting people, hurting relationships, skipping out on work, like the stuff that we end up doing to people as an addict is some of the most messed up things ever. And I didn't have the courage or the strength to be like, hey, you need to divorce me. Like I need to change all this. We ended up getting divorced years later. But that's what cocaine was for me. It was just an escape. It was an escape. It was validation. It was numbness. It was running. And it was me trying to find happiness that I could never find, because anytime I would do this, it would seem like so much fun. It would seem so much fun to be able to go and actually do this. And these women were beautiful. Like they were 10s. These were beautiful women. And I remember to myself of thinking, God, you should be really grateful for this. And these women kind of like you. But then in my head, I knew they didn't because I'm paying them to be here or we're doing drugs for them to be here. And I was filled with such emptiness afterwards. Like I did this because I thought it would be like this ultimate escape, which it kind of was. But then it would all just crumble. And it was never what I wanted it or thought it would be. It was never what my mind made it out to be. And it was always followed by so much emptiness and sorrow and regret and guilt and shame that I just felt like I had to use again or drink again all of a sudden right away to escape this. Being ashamed of myself, of how much money I just spent and that I should have did something else this day, and looking at my ex-wife of her not realizing what I just went and did and why I did all this stuff that I did. I mean, it was horrible things of running to do this and why I would, but it was like, I thrived on the chaos. It was very unmedicated. This was what happens when impulsivity takes over. And when it comes to being ADHD, there's a lot of truth to that. Like you don't think things through. You don't care about others. You don't care about yourself. You become, it looks like very selfish, but it's overridden by so much of a rush looking for dopamine. And it's amazing how these thoughts and the steps that you take create the dopamine. It's not the drugs. It's not even the sex that's going to create so much of this dopamine as it is the thought of doing it. I would be on one a day before I did this because I wouldn't just wake up one day and decide to do it. I would plan these out. And the planning it out is what got me off so much of how am I going to sneak this past my ex-wife? How am I going to get work off this day? How am I going to get the drugs in time? How am I going to get this? Planning this whole thing out got me high. It's like its own euphoric, hyper-focused, the world went quiet high on this craziness that I'm going to do, this buildup that I'm going to do. And by the time it was all said and done, it was such emptiness that I remember thinking to myself, why did I do this? What was the purpose of all of this? Other than the fact that I was high and I couldn't stop. Like I would tell myself, like, I'm not going to do this. And I couldn't stop. And if I was, the worst was that would tie me back into it was if one of these girls was like, hey, I don't want to do this anymore. Like I'm out. The receptionist would do this every now and then. She'd be like, hey, I can't do this anymore. You know, I don't feel comfortable doing it. Now it was a game to me. And now my whole focus was how could I manipulate you back into being down to do this again? And that's all I cared about. It was this impulse of I don't even know what my brain was chasing other than now looking back at, it was just total escape, numbness. And that's what it was. And I look back and it's like people will tell me all the time of how I share, you know, makes it sound like I'm selling and really hyping up what drugs are like. And for the addicts though, who will comment are like, dude, that's what it is. And there's so many questions that we get asked, and even like this, like, I don't know. Like I don't know why I just was so built inside me to do this, to just get it as crazy and hectic as possible. I had a great life. Like, I look at everything that I had. I had a good life. I had a nice house. I had a beautiful ex-wife. I had a lot, but it wasn't what I wanted in a sense. And no sane person wants drugs and prostitutes though, and a Motel 6. But as an addict, that's what I wanted. That's what I was thriving off of, and that's what I was drawn to, which shows how sick we really get. And this is why I share. Again, hit the like and follow button. Comment your experiences down below. Is that it is a chasing chaos of constant substance, constant numbing, chasing something that we're never going to get. But we think in our brain that it's there, that there's like this utopia there where it's finally like calm and everything we ever wanted, and it's not. But our brain is so hijacked, and it's such a flood of euphoric dopamine that it just doesn't stop. And when it comes to getting sober, this is why I share. There is no right or wrong way of getting sober. It's your way. Whether it is going to inpatient treatment or outpatient treatment, I have Refine Recovery down below. Reach out to them. There's a lot that goes into going to rehab that can really help. Go to an AA meeting, an NA meeting, an Al-Anon meeting, get support in life and other addicts that we understand this. We understand this chaos because normal people do not understand this at all. Download Sunflower Sober. I have it linked down below. Go to the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. Download Sunflower Sober. You get an AI sponsor with it. You get a community, and there's tons of tools and resources and tests and therapists and journaling. There's everything you need to get sober and stay sober. Start tracking your days. Go to a psychiatrist, a therapist, a doctor. Get on the right meds. Find out what you're using for. Start working on yourself, because believe me, it sounds like this is all crazy fun chaos and we don't know how to stop all this. But man, being sober is 1,000 times better, and it truly is. And that's, I think, what it's all about. Is it truly is better being sober. So don't give up. For the one out there fighting through every single day, don't give up. Man, I believe in you. If I could go back and show myself where my life is now, I would have been here that much sooner, because it did get that much better.